All right,
Blurb.
we're live and we're blurbing. It's Paul, myself, and Fred and Dan here,
Mais oui.
and it's been a very long week and a half of no recording. I was going insane without you guys.
But
It
of
did feel
course,
extra long, didn't it? It felt like we hadn't talked for a long time.
I can't imagine what you would do without me. I can't. I can't keep that up.
I can't imagine what we do without you either.
Be happy. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, that was weird. Just going from doing one a couple days sooner, but then that couple days sooner made it like a week and a half until the next recording, and now it feels like I haven't been here in months.
yeah,
This kitchen's not the same without you.
No.
yeah, it felt like there was a like the dropping cycle of the episodes was at least to me off too, but it was good. We're still on schedule.
Nobody on the outside knows anything
Yeah.
about the inner workings of what really goes on.
No, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Oop.
The fuck was that?
It's me knocking shit over
So
in my
much for a
well-oiled
well-oiled machine.
in my well-oiled machine. Yeah.
Good thing mine's over here.
For some reason, I have the Armored Angel CD next to me, and the last Absurd album. I just knocked them over.
For some reason,
Weird,
I've been
weird flex, but okay.
yeah.
It wasn't
some
even a
reason I've
flex.
been
It's just
listening
I don't know why they're here.
Yeah, for some reason, I've been listening to the Blazebirth Hall discography in chronological order. Like I said, I've only made it up to 1998, but I'm having fun revisiting a lot
I
of
think
that stuff.
the only weird part about that is trying to establish the chronological order of everything that they released because there's a lot going in there.
Well, I'm not doing exactly like 100%, but I'm going in order from years, and I
Right.
think I just finished the second 1998 Branicold album. I don't know what it's called. The one that I gave you, called the vinyl that kind of looks like a shark, wolf, eagle
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
The one Fred's
Rausch
envious
der
of.
Misanthropy or whatever.
Yeah, some of the Branicold stuff I hadn't heard before, which
Meat
was
of Misanthropy, I think it translates to.
yeah. I don't think I had ever heard Stormhide before.
Oh, that's my favorite
Before
though.
Recently, is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right,
And you know what? For
Save
it's
that for last.
probably that was like the I had heard To Comp originally the very first time I heard Blazebirth Hall, and I wasn't a big fan of that at the time. Eventually, I picked up the first Forest release, the self-titled one, and I liked that. And eventually, I traded someone for a copy of Branicold's Stormheight, and that one hooked me. Especially the track of Storm Ride. Holy hell, that song's amazing.
Do you remember the album, the 1997 one, Geveldulf?
Yes.
Geveldulf, the one
Yep.
with the Viking ship on it.
Yep.
don't know if
My
it's
copy
because
doesn't have that, but it's awesome.
Right. I don't know if it's because I heard that one first, but that one's, I think, my favorite Branicold so far. It seems to be like the most clear out of all of them. 'Cause
Up to that point, I think it is. They get a. I know I stand corrected. That one, mine does have a Viking ship on it, but it's really hard to see because it's like super dark. But it does get clearer as they go. I think like the major turning point is I'm not going to get the Russian pronunciation on this, but the no, not that one. The one that got released as a bootleg called Ulveger, and I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to pronounce the non-bootleg version as, but the official version on Der Schwarze Tod label is like this dude breathing out these like blue red jets of steam, ice. I don't know. But with that album onwards, they kind of converted to a bit more of a Isengard inspired vocal style more than before. And that's a really cool transition up until the last album, which was super super clear but very RAC sounding. But yeah, no, they do get clearer as they go along. But one that I think you'll really really like, one of my favorites, is the one from 1999, which I've seen called Frost Vision, but I don't think it's ever actually titled that anywhere.
That's like the black hole looking thing, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
really
That's
like that one.
That's one I don't think I've ever listened to.
I really like that
one's
one.
Probably going to be new for me.
And you're currently on Kveldalv, right?
I just finished. No. I just finished the 98 one.
Oh, the 98. Okay, so you heard Winterkald then.
Intercall. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, that one I like a lot too. And I think you've probably, yeah, that one's 97. Even the English translation on this one I don't know how to pronounce. Rdiandalir. One from 97. It's just one word.
Right. Have you noticed that like it's some of that stuff is like hard to follow. The riffs are so long. It's hard to tell where some of them begin and end.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. I've been listening to these like basically nonstop for like as long as I can remember at this point. So they feel very, I guess they're basically memorized at this point. But yeah, they really are. They kind of loop back on themselves eventually, but it takes a while.
Sit in the bathtub, listen to Nitberg.
That Donner Wetter, Donner Word is my favorite from Nidberg. That's such a good album. That was probably like the most Isengard of everything they did.
Yeah, I think you were a little bit mistaken when we were talking earlier about the sort of vocal idea that I was talking to. Not the Isengard
Oh, for
thing.
Warrior's Chalice?
Yes, not the Isengard thing, but like the Nitberg part of it from Nagelride, where he's kind of like that almost black metal rasp, but it's not quite. You know
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you
something
mean.
like that. Not the singing thing, the yelling thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to give that a try.
okay. Yeah, because when I listen to Donner Wetter, Donner Word, all I can think of is like Isengard. Just a really dark version of Isengard.
Yeah, it seems like Branicold and Forrest and Nitberg all kind of switch between a similar sound, and then the other similar sound is the like Viking stuff.
Yeah.
And Ravendark too does it.
And Varglade, too.
All of
The
them
o-
do it.
Except Rundagor. Rundagor was kind of separate
Rundagor's
because
different,
that was
yeah.
a different guy that was behind it. Daggerath, I think it was.
Stronghold of Ruin, man, the riffs on that are really, really inspiring. Especially
Yeah.
for 95. Holy smokes.
The album that he finally released after recording it like 20 years prior was really good too. Beast Realm. A couple of tracks have been released on the Hammerkrig compilation, but I think it was one or two tracks anyways, but they never actually released the whole thing until like I don't know, late 2010s. I don't know what year it was, but it's really good.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep going down that route till I'm all done. Who knows how long it'll take? I've been at it since last week, or at least since I think since last week. Made it up to 98. So there you
I'm
go.
not even involved, and I'm excited.
Yeah, get excited. I'm excited to hear some of this stuff for the first time,
Yeah.
or at least retain it. That's my problem. A lot of the time I just don't retain things. But I have caught myself humming Branicold and Forest riffs, so I am retaining it. I'm catching myself do it. Some of them are quite catchy, so there you go.
Yeah, Branicold and Forest especially had a lot of really catchy shit.
Yeah. Paul, did you happen to see that clip of James flying through the air, stage diving at Whiplash?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that. It was a very last minute thing. I'm sitting here at my desk on Friday, and I see on Instagram, Whiplash tonight, and I'm like, oh, I forgot this was happening. I didn't get a ticket. And then in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Nothing's really going on tonight. Robert wanted to go to the movies, but I bought 2 tickets to Whiplash instead, and we went to that, and we made it. Oh, dude, we did it, Paul. We made it.
As they started?
We made a few songs into their set, and it was songs I didn't care about, and so we got to see all the songs that cared about, and we weren't there for that long. There for about an hour and a half. Perfect.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was like over an
perfect.
hour set, so that's good.
There was a lot of people there. It was hot, stinky. You know what? Guess what time you have to get in to catch that?
Oh.
10:30?
11:30.
11:30?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we got there. We had some time to kill just because I was looking for a parking area, and I couldn't find anything around there. So I go into this like parking structure, and there's a Nigerian guy that's like the clerk, and he doesn't. I don't know if he doesn't speak English, but he doesn't understand what the hell we're talking. So we pull up, and he's like wagging his finger at us like no, and I go, we can't park here, and he goes, let me take a picture of your license plate. So he takes a picture of the license plate. There's somebody behind us honking, and he goes, we're waiting there for like 3 or 4 minutes while he does this, and he goes, fourth floor. So we go up to the 4th floor, parked, and then he comes up and he goes, you have to leave. I'm like, okay. And I like there was like construction in the place, so I had to like back out, and it was a real bitch, and I had to like go in the way that I came out, and the exit sign was like fucked up at the bottom, so I had to back out, and like my van is kind of tall, and I always feel weird about parking structures because I assume I'm gonna hit, and I did hit the top of my van got scratched up by the fucking ceiling.
Oh,
Damn.
Not the top, but you know, like on the vans they have those little
Yeah,
rack
rail things.
My racks got scratched.
Oh, scratched your rack.
Yeah, still not fun. Yeah, we're standing there, and at some point I'm like, it smells like somebody shit in their pants, and Robert goes, oh, it's this chick with her vape, and I could smell the vape, but then like it smells like poo. What the hell does it smell like shit? So we're standing there watching, and I turn around, and James is like pretending like, or James is acting like, oh, I'm just some dude standing here, and I look at him, and he's like, gives me the soy jack face. And I asked him, like, did they play anything off Power and Pain yet? He's like, yeah, whatever, Spit on Your Grave. I don't really care about that song. I care about the main 3. That's whatever. But I'm like, I want to play Warmonger. And right when I said that, he's like, the dude is like, Warmonger. And fucking James gives me another soy jack face, and he goes, excuse me. And he like jumps in the pit. In the group chat I reference, it's kind of like in The Ringer when Glenn doesn't realize he won the Special Olympics. He's like, you won. He goes, I did? Excuse me. Woo! He like throws his arms up in the air.
Yeah, speaking of James, he well, I was supposed to meet him at my house, but I had all that car trouble, so he dropped off the Serenity shirt. Yeah.
Lucky boy.
Yeah, it was he had the Bandcamp price all wrong. It was like $20 for the shirt, and then in the U.S. it said $20 shipping. I was like, God damn, you're making a fortune on shipping. And then he's like, no, it's supposed to be $5.
So, yeah, somebody bought one of the CDs. I think it was Hyper Shaman.
Oh boy.
I think
They're selling. Get them while you got them, guys.
Hot diggity.
Drew bought one. I'm like, dude, why did you buy one? You didn't have to buy one of these. I'm like, I'm not gonna ship it to you. It's like you're right down the street. I'll just drop it off one day.
Yeah, and then I forgot with our long, interval between episodes.
But that we saw Imprecation.
Yeah, that night we saw Imprecation.
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, that night, the last time we recorded.
Well, it was a polar opposite of Daniel's experience because we showed up so goddamn fucking early. It was
I hate
terrible.
showing up early.
But thankfully they had pool tables, so I was just doing that until Imprecation hopped on.
That's Paul's thing.
Yeah, me and Anthony were just playing, and yeah, they had the back lot with some vendors, and spoke with the Old One Gash guy who runs Feral Heart Productions a bit. Um, Talked to him for a bit, and then there was a guy just selling all the NS shit in the back too.
Yeah, Paul bought me the I showed you, Fred. He bought me the record, the final Branicold record, the one that people don't like.
Triumph, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's
Oh no, it's a fantastic album. It's just they're bootlegs.
some people don't like it.
Really? Oh, you mean
Yeah.
the actual album?
Yeah, the album itself.
Oh yeah, no. When I first heard it, it was an adjustment because I had just heard the early Brandon Called stuff, and I hadn't heard the mid-period stuff yet. So I went from shit like Stormheit and Kveldov right to that. And I'm like, what the shit am I listening to? Once I got over that and actually listened to it for what it was, it's fucking awesome. It's a great album.
Yeah, then that venue was pretty nice. The sound quality was really, really clear, and it wasn't like too overbearing. Like you were able to have it without the earplugs, but it just sounds better with that. And yeah, it was just a really aggressive pit, and we had like two realities of what happened
Christian.
colliding. Yeah, so it was like,
We've talked about Christian on the show before, the lying guy.
yeah, that's why he has the band called Folsom.
Yeah, that's why his band name is Folsom. He's false. Not in his metal what would you even call that, status, but in his some of his stories are a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah, it's perception. But yeah, so he's in the pits, a little more aggressive than usual. Some guy and him like bump heads, and then he after the show he like goes outside. He's like, "Hey, is my fucking eye bleeding?" I was like, "No." And then yeah, I guess later
He had a big shiner. He had a big black eye.
yeah, he has a big
Oh, yeah.
black eye, and the guy had like a knot on his head from his head.
Oh man.
And yeah, then he's over at our friend Drew's, who bought the CD that Dan's gonna walk over. And
He was at Amber's. He was telling Amber about this.
oh, okay, yeah, he was over there, and he was just basically saying like, oh yeah, I was in the pit, and then they kicked me out, and then I had to fight two people outside, and he's all fucking beat their
Fucking punched
asses. If you think I look bad, you should see the other guy, type of thing.
My life is crazy.
Yeah, my life's a movie. But yeah, and then
It was just two nibbas bumping heads.
yeah, it's funny. But yeah, that was our imprecation show. They played pretty great. Really really fast, and you know, playing a lot of that compilation. I think they played more of their newer album towards the beginning. But yeah, they're great, and I don't know, man. The other bands are just kind of background music to billiards.
What were the other bands again?
I don't remember.
Look at Mortis, they're like black metal, and then there's
It was a war metal band and a death metal band, and they sounded like that.
Abhorrency.
All right.
Yeah, but it was alright.
They were fine. They were okay. That's why we always like to show up late.
Yeah. I didn't know
fair.
what I was gonna do with myself if there was no pool tables. Just like go back out to the car with all those cholos that like co-opted that parking lot.
$5 to park here. Okay.
I have a show coming up on Saturday.
I was gonna say it was a bit foreshadowing of the night, because the girl who asked for $5 to park there happened to have a black eye too, so there's some continuity.
She fell down the stairs.
Yeah, she got jumped in.
She got jumped in.
But you got a show on Saturday?
Yeah.
you playing
The
with?
Chilean band Ejecutor.
Oh, okay.
Are playing, and Adversarial are opening. And apparently their new album is supposed to be their best one, so that should be exciting. It's been ages since I've seen Adversarial.
Yeah, I'd never seen them, but I've liked their stuff for a while. I didn't really give their new album a listen, but their second one is the one I really like. And that Chilean band is cool too. I haven't listened to them in a while. Ejecutor, is that how you pronounce it?
I have no idea how to pronounce it. My Spanish or Portuguese is not very good, but I think it's like Ejecutor. I don't know.
Ejecutor. Apparently, there's a death metal band from Florida with the same name, and I always assume, like, I see people wearing the shirts, and I'm like, is that the same band? I guess it was a different band. So there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that the dripping guy reps that, but
Yeah,
completely different
was
band.
it's the Florida band.
Dumb.
And besides
Beware
that,
the howling darkness on thy left shoulder. Huh. Cool song titles on this new adversarial. Sorry, King of Queens.
Yeah, I said, besides that, he's been watching a lot of King of Queens. It's pretty weird. Well, it seems like a lot of like 2000 sitcoms are weird. I think it exists in the same universe as Everybody Loves Raymond. That's kind of cool.
This exists in the same void.
Yeah, well, there was only like one episode that I've seen where it was like Raymond's parents and Ray they were like golfing or something. It exists in the void. I was gonna bring up too. I know this is a while ago, but that damn Dominus episode. It reminded me of that I suppose you guys probably remember a death metal band called Subject. I think they were from
Hungary.
Slovenia. Hungary, is that it?
Yep.
Nah,
Yeah, they changed too. Did you ever hear their second album, or maybe it was an EP? Yeah. Actually, it's their first full length. It's called Wild Horses from the Clouds.
I did hear it, and I really hoped with a title like that it would be akin to that first EP and the demo. I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't, because there's nothing I love more than like wild death grind with like fantastical aesthetic. And I thought a death grind album that's called Wild Horses from the Clouds would have been friggin' awesome. But they kind of went death and roll on it, didn't they?
It's wild death and roll from 1994.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's pretty good.
I like it too. I just wish it was still in the same style.
See, that's what Volume Beat sounds like, if anybody ever heard that album.
Oh, that. I haven't heard anything after Wild Horses though. Like, I don't know what Negative Kept sounds like, or whatever the hell however the hell that's pronounced.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one. I only heard Volume Beat. It's a little bit more akin to like Left Hand Path, which I don't think is bad. I don't think not Left Hand Path. Sorry, fucking the Wolverine Blues is what I meant to say.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think I kind of like a lot of people jump to conclusions and be like, this sucks, lame death and roll, but it's actually not that bad. I was gonna compare it to like Pantera or something, but that's not really a selling point for Fred. I think.
No, it really isn't.
Well, it is for Paul. So, Paul and anybody who's into that kind of thing should give Wolverine Blues another chance, because it is good.
Yeah, the real heads.
The real heads. Well, Fred's not a real head.
No, I'm really not.
Oh man.
Pantera.
I was going a little bit through the Stellar Winter fucking like catalog. I got a lot of stuff that I haven't listened to yet, but I did end up checking out that Thinnest band, who I guess is like a side project of Nocturnal Mortem.
Yeah.
And I like it. It's pretty good. A lot of people are saying like, oh, NSPM. That's the National Socialist Power Metal kind of thing.
Oh right, yeah.
It ain't bad. It's kind of cool. I like the aesthetic. I like the. It's interesting that Stellar Winter put that out. Is something for me.
There's some cool stuff on Stellar Winter. Obviously, the Blazebirth Hall stuff was the best and probably most important. But they put out that Veil demo and album, and I really really like Veil. That was a fantastic band.
Yeah, I think that's the same artist who does a lot of the Bladesburg Hall stuff.
Hmm.
I didn't realize we were talking about the artist before. It's that I forget what her name is. Some lady who I knew her. She was married to the dude from Dubbuck, but I guess she was married to Caldrad too.
Oh, I didn't know she was married to both. Huh?
It's
Think they knew?
Katarina, Katarina. Do I think they knew? I don't know.
Frankly, we don't want to know.
Second NS honey bun of the week. I guess I still have to listen to Hammer Heart, the Nitberg split with whoever this is. I keep seeing this other band. I guess they're called Sonarad, but in Russian.
Oh, that Hammerheart split is weird. It's weird that they did a split with a band that wasn't from the Bladesburg Hall circle, especially that particular band. That's all they ever did, I think.
Yeah, and I keep seeing this band pop up with those guys, Old Sea and Mother Serpent, which is like Stoner Doom, but it's by some of these guys who are in Forest and Nitberg and Walknut. Oh, it's String Scold. That's who it is. The main guy from Walknut,
Hmm.
and a guy who did like most of the stuff for the last Nitberg album.
What do you think of the last Nitberg album?
I like it. I have it. It's definitely the most clear I think that that Bladesburg Hall has ever been. It's like some of the best recordings. I mean,
It's it's definitely the clearest and the cleanest sounding of everything they did. I really do think that was the last recording they finished. There's no recording information on my copy, but it really sounds like it was finished after Ulf's death, and they just had this album that was ready to go that just needed to be finished off somehow. But that and the last Forest album, but I like it a lot, but because it's all one track, it's hard to sit down and just listen to the whole thing.
yeah, it's broken up into different like sections of the track. But if you just
It
have the
is, but
CD,
it's not
hard to-
indexed
yeah,
anyway, right? Yeah.
well, maybe online it is, but on the CD, there's no way to find it. You just have to put it in, and it's like it starts over again.
But everything they did, everything was just fantastic. Just,
Yes, sir.
And then you
All right,
got
Paul.
some
What's
updates,
that?
right, Fred?
Updates,
yeah, I got some
Some
shit in the
updates.
mail.
life updates,
Yeah, that's collection updates. That's the same thing.
life collection is life.
Collection is life. See what we did there.
That's my life.
Well, that's my life.
I don't remember if I got all those Maniac Butcher albums last time I did any sort of update, but
Say it again.
I ordered a collection of from someone who lived not too far from here and had original pressings of, I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, but Cerna Krev,
Well, you
Invase, Curvestreb, Lucan Antichrist, Massacre, and not an original pressing of Barbarians, but that's fine. I'll live with it. The couple Bilskirner 7-inch EPs, they're split with Zalasi on Regimental Records, and the split with Barad-dur on Tenhu. Black Funeral album on CD, Vukolak. The First Blood live album from Der Stürmer, which is ridiculous. They basically Graham Belial keyed a Rambo poster and just gave him corpse paint, which is freaking
okay.
great. So our episode on fermenting innards made me want to finally get a copy of their EP Drowned, so I managed to get a copy of that, along with the Wild Rags Records reissue of the Corpse Vomit demo, and that's got me going down a Wild Rags rabbit hole, and I'm never going to get out of this thing because that's such a ridiculous label. Last thing I got was the new Absurd album. I say that with a question mark because I don't think it's the unhold version of the band. I don't know how many people consider that to be the real Absurd or not, but in any case, it's got some terrible AI album art, and there's quite a story behind the whole thing. But it's I don't know, Wild Rags. It's all about Wild Rags. That rabbit hole is never ending. I have the Death Penalty. No, well, Death Penalty album on the way. I've only heard one track from it. I've never actually heard anything from it until like 3 months ago. So I'm looking forward to hearing that.
You're gonna have to send it. Send.
Yeah, there's I've been trying to find audio for this for a while, and I could only ever find a single track, but and that was only uploaded in the last few months. Their Metal Archives page has a link to YouTube for the full album, but it's not there. So there's just one track on YouTube that I can find right now, and it's like a name like Death Penalty Conviction doesn't really give you a whole lot to work with. But it's it's death metal. It has a fair bit of hardcore influence, but it's cool. I look forward to hearing the album.
I always put a band on the search key, so to differentiate between some shit.
Yeah, something else.
Death Penalty Conviction Band.
Death metal, black metal,
or the year.
Or full album helps too.
Yeah,
I find.
Or else you're gonna find some nasty things.
I just remember that
most of the videos I was coming up with trying to find the Death Penalty album is just videos of judges sentencing murderers and stuff to death. I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for.
Some comps.
Some comps. I remember that we had that me and Robert were arguing about Ron Perlman on Thursday when we were like drunk after practice. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Vince brought it up. I don't even know how that happened. I think Robert said something. You like Ron Perlman? You like Hellboy? I was like, no. Ron Perlman's gay. I hate him. And he's like, Hellboy, come on. I'm like, no, okay. He's like, what? I'm like, what other movies has he been in? And he's like, name all these movies. I'm like, gay. And then Vince is like, yeah, we won the argument. And then the next day he messaged me. He's like, Ron Perlman does the voice of the Lich on Adventure Time. Checkmate, nerd. Like, you know what? I know when I'm beat. I tip my hat to you, sir. And then he texts me the next day. He like sends me a picture of Ron Perlman. It's like, he watching you, Dan. I don't know why I found that so funny. There's that picture of Vince with the fucking Snorlax hat.
Oh yeah, they're like saying that it's basically Robert.
Yeah, he's like, Nibba's thinking about something. Something diabolical.
Snorlax fucking owns. He's helping all the Pokemon.
Oh, I forgot that. What's it called? Our friends from the Steel Toes podcast. I guess they're on a hiatus because their main guy left. And we were talking about this in a group chat. Like the Steel Toes podcast posted. They're like, I'm going to be taking a break, so Drew's going to carry on the legacy while I'm gone. Without telling the other guy. So he's just like assuming the other guy's going to take over. And Paul's like, that's like if me and Dan left and we posted, we're like, oh, Fred's going to continue the legacy. It's like, what?
Man, can you imagine how sad this podcast would be if it was just me talking to myself?
Just collection
talking
updates.
To yourself. We might have to do an episode like that one day. Or it's just you.
Just for
Like the first 5 minutes would be like a really enthusiastic collection update, and then just be like, and the album we're talking about today, I guess, is Demilich.
yeah, I'll record it for you. I'll just be silent. And then you
Yeah,
get
I
to-
really like it. Yeah, just don't even say anything. What do you think, Paul? No? Nothing? No?
You could probably figure it out. The clean feed thing is not very difficult. I think you just press the download button and you press the record button, and there you go.
No, I don't think it's complicated. Just Paul's been doing it. I'm not going to start doing it.
Yeah.
He's good at it. Why would I interfere with that?
Yeah, I remember when we first had why am I blanking on the name? Cromlech. Why am I blanking on the guy's name?
Roman.
I can't think of his name. Roman. I knew it was like an interesting name. There you go. When we first had him on, Paul was not gonna be here, and we were having all kinds of audio issues. I'm like, we need Paul. I need him here.
Gotcha.
I was thinking
From
about
my
that
side, it's
today.
not so much as that we need Paul here, but I don't have access to the. Like, do you have to log in to use the version you download? I imagine you do.
Yeah.
You have to log
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Well, you could just make a free account.
Yeah, you can just make it.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's clogging up my emails.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Thought experiment.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking, what if someday we absolutely have to, I probably would be willing to do a solo episode. I think we should all do a solo episode. It might happen one day where no one's available.
That'd be terrible.
I think if any
You say that'd be
of
terrible?
us three, no, I think if any of us three had to do a solo episode, Dan's would be the most entertaining, hands down.
Yeah.
I would have to think of something. I would have to keep thinking.
But I think you'd come up with things. I think it would just be like going, so.
Yeah, I'd be recording for like 4 hours, but it will just come out to like an hour episode with all like the
That'll be
stitching
the
together.
edit. You edit 4 hours into like an hour.
I'd just like start talking about everything I see sitting around me. Well, this Nintendo 64 controller screen, it's got the cable's kind of knotted. I think we can try untangling. Hang on. Yeah, it's coming apart pretty well. Let's see if we can plug it back. Oh no, I can't reach the N64 from here. Hang on, let me go get it. There we go. Yeah, no, it still plugs in pretty well, and it's a little dusty because it's been sitting around down here for a while. But that's what happens when you don't play with your N64. What game's still in here? Oh, Doom 64 is still in here. That's a pretty good game. I didn't get very far in it because I didn't have the time, but I really liked it. But it's weird playing it with a green controller. Like, who plays Doom with a green? You gotta go back to the classic gray controller. What am I doing in my life here? Hang on, let me just switch them over here. Let's unplug this one. Just
You sound
plug
like
the
you're
gray one
streaming.
back in.
It does sound like you're streaming. It sounds like you're killing time.
Our episode's already at an hour.
Yeah, that's almost like when you're in school and you're writing a book report or an essay or something, and you make your sentences as long as possible with like
Yes.
a bunch of mundane words and shit.
Oh my god!
I never think about those days anymore, but if I really think about it, I remember it was pretty miserable doing homework and like or especially essays, because I would procrastinate and like do it the night before with like nothing in my brain. Sitting at the computer like typing things slowly.
Yep.
And then you press the tab button, and then you'll have to make sure the fucking paragraphs are all like nice and aligned and stuff.
Oh my god! But this feeling of satisfaction when you finally hit like 1,000 words, and you're like, oh, thank God. Then you read it over again, and you're like, this is complete bullshit. God damn it.
I think my freshman year of high school, I saved one of it was a handwritten essay or a book report on To Kill a Mockingbird. I think I got like a B plus. For some reason, I like kept it. My B plus book report, Kill a Mockingbird. I don't even know if I still have that. I might still have that.
If you do, you
For
gotta
some
read
reason,
it.
I was like proud of
Read it for us the
myself.
next episode.
Oh man, I'll have to read you some of my comic books that I made when I was in like 3rd, 4th grade. They're really stupid. They contain a lot of Family Guy references, which is incredible.
Oh no.
A lot of Family Guy and a lot of references to like, in particular, Super Mario. What is that game called? The Superstar Saga, the RPG for the Game Boy. I was playing that a lot. Oh, and Rayman 3. There's a lot of references to that. That was a good game too. That was the one where John Leguizamo voices Glowbox. That was pretty good.
Such a weird thing to reference.
I was playing that game at the time, I think. Sorry, just cracking my spine.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no drinks. I have no popcorn. I have no snacks. Like, what am I doing with my life here?
I thought I heard something crack. Oh no, you said you dropped something. That's what that sound was.
Yeah, it was my Armored Angel CD. Come on, pay attention.
Oh, shush. Speaking of school, I was thinking of something else ridiculous that I think I brought up before. It's retarded. So, I think it was like the last week of school, 5th grade, and we're standing in line to like hand in some sort of report or hand in a test or something. And I'm standing in line against this wall, and there's like one of those cork board things. And there was like a little piece chipped off the cork board, and for whatever reason, I start picking at it with my finger, and I'm like kind of ripping the cork off a little bit. And so there's like a nice chunk out of the cork board when I'm gone, and the teacher flips the fuck out. She goes, "Who did this? Who did this to the cork board?" And I didn't say nothing. And she gets everybody in the class. She's like, "All right, you're gonna put your heads down, and you're gonna write on a piece of paper who did this." And I don't know if anybody knew it was me, but I don't think she ever found out who did it. And she was trying to get somebody to fess up. And she's like, "All right, we're not gonna have an ice cream and waffle party at the last day of school if you don't fess up." And I never fessed up, and I think we still did have that waffle and ice cream party.
Oh, you showed them.
Showed us, Miss Cosio.
The
And
nerve.
I think the last day too, she brought her like fucking Labrador, her dog, and she I guess she didn't care because it was the last day of school and the dog was doing dumb shit. Like the dog started eating thumbtacks, and she's like, "Oh shit, oh fuck," in front of the whole class. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
It's not
And
good.
the dog,
It's not good for a dog.
what the dog
I
doing?
think it actually ate them. It was like putting it in its mouth or whatever.
What the
She
dog
did it again
doing?
later, like out in the field. Something happened with the dog. Dog started running. She's like, "Ah!" I don't know if it was because it was the last day or if it because she just brought her dog and it was like stressing her out.
Probably the latter.
Yeah. I was involved with another one of those incidents where everybody has to like write down on a piece of paper who did something. I think
Who
in like
did
sixth,
that?
Yeah, who did that? Well, there was this thing that we used to do, me and like some of the Mexican hoodlums in my class. You get like a piece of an eraser, either from the top of the pencil or one like a chunk of, one of the big giant erasers, and you straighten out a staple and you stick staples through so it kind of looks like it's like a spiky ball type of thing, and you just toss it on the roof. You toss it into the roof because the roof is made of like that cork material. See, another cork thing that's important too. So there's all these like little spiky erasers like stuck in the roof. And it was the Spanish teacher, Miss Sanchez, and she looks up and she points, she goes, "What are those things and how do they get up there?" And then she had us like, write down on paper, and I think I was named. I wasn't the only one doing it, but I was named in the eraser staple debacle of 06.
You got sold out.
Somebody sold me out.
That's harsh.
One of the goody goodies.
The worst.
Yeah, I don't know where any of those scumbags are now. They're all on drugs.
Dead or in jail.
Dead or in jail. Yeah, you're dead or in jail.
That's what they deserve. Narcs.
Yeah, in Minecraft. Or in GTA. I don't know which one's better, but it's a better reference.
In Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger. We can wait for I forget exactly what it was. Wait for the girl, the ice princess, to do something or something or something.
Do you ever get around? I don't think there's an ice princess, so I guess he didn't get around to
There
playing
was something you wait for, isn't there? You're like, there's this girl with a backstory, and you wait for something, and something happens.
it. Well, no, nothing happens. That's the problem. You can't find her again. That was Shala. Oh my god. Pay attention.
Okay, I'll think.
No, but you had a copy though, didn't you? Didn't you like you tracked down a way to play it? Or am I
No,
mistaken?
I have Secret of Mana. I have not.
Oh, right. Okay.
I have not touched it. I have not made time to sit down and play a video game. I guess just watching TV. I don't even. It's hard for me to think of what I even do most of the day. I can't even remember what I do most of the day.
Going through the
On the
motions.
plus side, Secret of Mana is a lot easier to just pick up and go and play. It takes less focus than Chrono Trigger because that one you literally just run around and smack enemies. You don't have to like strategize nearly as much.
Maybe it's just the way today things work today with like instant. You have everything instantly.
Yeah.
Everything's on the internet, so like attention spans get. I've noticed that my attention span. A lot of people are like that. They're like, I can't watch movies anymore. I can't watch TV anymore. I can't do it. At least I can still. I've become interested in television again. Once I discovered King of Queens, it's like something. It is dumb. It's a dumb show, but I'm having fun watching it. It's Jerry Stiller and Kevin James. Come on.
Jerry Stiller was great. Kevin James, not so much.
I think that's what makes it fun for me because he's just so dumb. He says things like all his words that end in shun. He goes location. Yeah, it's like it's not really funny, but it's kind of funny.
It's like a real life Homer Simpson. Well, not real life, but like a live action Homer Simpson.
Well, I like the way Kevin James dresses too. He dresses like me, basketball shorts. So I can relate to that.
I've been watching
You're like, yeah, my man.
the new season, I guess, of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It's fucking great.
Oh, is that like? Did you say it's a new series, or is that like the reruns of the old Unsolved Mysteries?
No, it's a new series, and they have like 4 volumes out now. So I guess it started.
Have you seen the old one?
Yeah, of course. I grew up on that shit.
Man, I kind of want to go back and watch that stuff. I saw a few episodes of the old one, and it seemed like something you can kind of just get lost in.
Yeah, it really is. When you rewatch them now, or watch them now in your case, I guess they do feel dated because all the reenactments, the people.
Oh, the reenactments are so.
They're
stupid.
so corny, but
It's fun.
but no, it was an awesome show back then. But the presenter Robert Stack was the cornerstone of that show. Like he just is what made it awesome. So he passed away a while ago, and when they announced that they're gonna bring it back, I was like, who the hell are they gonna get to narrate this show and make it not suck? And the brilliant answer they came up with is no one. They don't have anyone narrating the show other than the interviewees who are answering questions that you don't actually hear. It's just them talking about their experience. So, and every episode, rather than having a bunch of different mysteries, is just one case from start to finish for like 40 minutes. And they've been awesome each time. And this new series, we're 3 episodes in, I think. 3 or 4, and they've all been like bizarre, kind of eerie, and just surprisingly gory. Like they actually show a lot more than I thought they would of like murder scenes.
You know, that's actually a cool point about the narrator thing. I've heard this point before about like new actors and like, you know, bringing in younger actors and things. It seems like there's not really anybody cool these days. Like there's nobody that people are like, yeah, that guy's cool. This actor is cool. He would be a great host. He would be a great narrator. It's like everyone's kind of the same nowadays, and no one really has any personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the young. I just saw the commercial for like the new Alien, and it's like it's all new actors, and I can't imagine that would be any good.
I don't know. I'm supposed to see that on Friday. I am really optimistic about it. Like I don't know about the actors, who they are, what they do. I don't really care, to be honest. as long as the movie just drips with claustrophobic atmosphere, and the
Same here.
trailers really promising for that. And I mean, let's face it, they're all just fodder for the alien anyways. I don't really care what. As
Yeah,
long as
I actually get that because I like the Alien franchise too, and as far
I
as the new
I
ones go, I
want
don't really care that much.
I want to like the Alien franchise, but I haven't done anything good since '86.
I liked Prometheus a lot. It seems like a lot of people didn't like that one. I loved it. I thought it
I
was really cool.
I probably would have liked Prometheus a lot more if I wasn't expecting an alien movie.
Were you expecting an Alien movie? I didn't know what I was expecting. I just saw it and I just thought, oh, good movie.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. But like Alien 3 was garbage. Alien versus Predator 1 and 2 were both pointless. Prometheus, I didn't particularly like. Covenant started off promising, and then it's just David sitting in a mountain playing flute with himself for like fucking an hour. I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? And this, oh, I forgot Alien Resurrection. That was entertaining. I wouldn't have called it good, but it had its moments. And this one, like based on the trailers, looks like they really wanted to remain faithful to what made the series great to begin with. So it's, you know,
But it's new, Fred.
it is new, but like it's like, remember when Possessed released Revelations of Oblivion a few years back? And like you listen to it and you're like, it's good, but like it's nothing groundbreaking. Well, of course it's not. It's Possessed. They already broke the ground. This is them doing what they do best. Like you can't, like it's nothing's ever going to match Seven Churches because that is what the one that broke ground. Like, and same thing with the Alien movies. Like nothing's going to be as shocking as the first couple of movies because they did it. You've been exposed to it now. So anything they do after that is like, all right, well, it's kind of like it already. So, but I just want it to be done well.
But it came out on last Friday, though. It's not.
Well, that's why I'm waiting a whole. That's why I'm waiting a whole week.
No, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch that too. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful. The reviews have been positive.
Paul knows I always bring this up. My dad's friend was in Alien Resurrection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Ray Cruz guy who was also Tuco, Breaking Bad. You remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
Tight.
He
had a car parked in our backyard, and I didn't watch Breaking Bad at the time, but a bunch of the neighbors like came over, and they were like taking pictures with him.
I don't remember him being in Alien Resurrection. That's funny.
Yeah, he was with I think
One
that's
of the xenomorphs.
no, I think that's God. What is that woman's name? Winona Ryder. I think she's in it too. But nobody really remembers Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, it was. It's just because they brought Ripley back in like the weirdest. Oh, it's not even that they brought Ripley back. It was like, I remember that general. I don't know what his name was, but he was like really a pain in the ass, but also was kind of supposed to be some stupid, like, comic relief at the same time. And like when he gets killed, like the alien kind of like jabs him in the back of the head, and he's just standing there going, "Oh, what's going on?" And he like grabs a piece of brain out of the back of his head, looks at it, and falls over. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
I actually I'm gonna go grab a beer, fridge. So
Yeah, I'm gonna grab
I'll
it.
be right back.
No, let's just break because I'm gonna grab a drink and make some popcorn so I can crunch away for the rest of the night.
All right, break, and then we'll come back into the thing.
The thing, I like it.
All right, Bunsen on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bunsen.
Yeah.
All right, we're back from our break. Dan's killing ants. Fred's popping the corn. Me, I just got a little water. Keeping it
You
simple.
probably boosted your battery again.
Yeah.
I took no joy in spraying those ants.
Had to be done.
Kraken!
Jeez.
Had to be done.
Thy will be done. Look what you did, you little jerk.
I got thy constant sorrow on my back.
Wow. It's dark.
Serenitis back print. But yeah, today we're doing a grindcore, pornogrind, gore grind amalgamation of a record.
French.
They're French, so we got a Frenchman to help us out with that.
Who, Dan?
Freddie the Frenchman.
Oh, right.
And the band
French
is
Fred.
called Gronibard, and the self-titled's called Gronibard. And
It would be.
this was shown to me by Dan in high school. This was a time where I was listening to brutal death metal and stuff like that, and I was listening to all the usual suspects of that time, like Lividity and of course all the like Future Piles and stuff like that. And then that time there was a lot of like I think at the time it would be considered like parody or like memes of that time of bands like Sperm Swamp and stuff like that. And what's that one band?
Rectal smegma.
Them, and then it's like I Ate Your Math Teacher or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of just really overly produced gargly toilet noise, gore grind.
It's like computers.
Yeah.
Grind
Oh,
kind of stuff.
cyber grind. That's what it's called.
Cybergrind and all that, yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, you're into that because it's on the internet and it's
Yeah, that was the same way.
yeah, and you come across some actually good ones that are along the same lines of being humorous, but there's actually some back into it. So there's like Gut, who's like one of the first Pornogrind bands from Germany. I think they're coming out with shit in like 91. And then there's the progenitor of Pornogrind, which was like gore grind of Carcass and Zizma, and I would argue Impentego too. Have a lot of
Meat shits, maybe.
Yeah, Meat Shits. I think they're coming out in 92, 93. Really, really hateful shit. Whereas these guys are, I think, equally hateful. At least in their like interviews that I've read, they're like, "Oh yeah, we toned down the misogyny in their records." But of course, I don't know what the fuck any of their song titles mean.
Well, that's where I can help.
Yeah, because I couldn't just throw in Google Translate. I got Fred here. Don't want to get him out of a job.
Yeah, there are some entertaining song titles in here. Let me give you some of my favorites. The one that really stuck out to me is track number 27. I won your aunt's ass at the village fair. I thought that was particularly poetic.
Now say it in the beautiful language.
That would be, where is it? J'ai gagné l'anus de ta tante à la kermesse du village. It sounds so nice, doesn't it?
Sounds just like the record.
Yeah, it sounded like one of the samples.
Yeah, they had like this whole record, 31 tracks. I think it roughs out to about a minute per track, or averages out to that. So it's literally a runtime of 31 minutes for all these tracks. Some are like 5 seconds long, some are going up to 2-3 minutes, so it all equals out. And there's, of course, the elephant in the room of the pitch shifted vocals, but not only down like regular gore grind, they also pitch up really, really high. And this band is also a gay band. I don't know if it's in jest or for real, but either way, it's good by me because they make some good music.
What do you mean by gay band?
Like they literally
Gay members.
Yeah, like they literally are gay, or at least that's what they say.
I see.
Yeah, they're like
I wonder.
the first gay gore grind band.
The only gay gore grind band.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I can't think of another one.
yeah, you can see from their covers like "We're French, fuck you." Like it gets a little.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, it gets odd, and then the next one, like the one before that, Satanic Tuning Club. It's like some fucking cars and shit. Some wheels and
Yeah, but there are like chicks on their covers. Like Satanic Tuning Club has the little chick on it, and there's a bunch of. Even this cover has like giant fake tits,
yeah.
and there's other ones with giant tits. So
Isn't Tuning Club just the car wheel?
I don't know, you have to tell us. All this
Hang
stuff goes over our heads.
I was poking through there. That's an English title. Come on. Yeah, Satanic Tuning Club is a clip of a wheel. I mean, I guess there's a woman in the logo, but
Yeah, and they have a variety of logos. The first one's my personal favorite. The logo literally being shit out of some ass. And then,
a butt pooping.
yeah. And that album art is just, like, fantastic.
It's the most old school that it looks. It's kind of cool. It looks like an old death metal cover, kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of.
or what you would expect from like old gore grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this album, it's like, yeah, sure, you're going to be laughing and being like, oh, what am I listening to? But then it just gets really into, like, the heaviest guitar tone that you get with just gore grind in general, and just insanely fast, quick drumming that changes on a dime from these polka beats that are, a staple to the genre, and just groovy riffs, and the vocals, of course, adding a whole different dimension on it. It almost sounds like Elmo at times. And then and they don't only have the two pitch vocals, but they have like gang shouts and a lot of other sort of vocals where they're just kind of like shouting in French, or they'll just like have another sort of effect on their higher or lower vocals. And a lot of inspiration for this band is, obviously like Dead Infection, and what isn't so obvious is maybe like SOD, that they really fuck with them, especially in the humor aspect. And I can kind of tell from the amount of tracks on this album too. And what else about this? It was at a time where I was just I think Dan knew about most of these bands already, and I was just like eating it up because it was metal, and then it's just like porn at the time. So it's like the perfect high school mixture.
Metal and porn.
Yeah, Pornogrind.
Gay porn.
Yeah. And yeah, with like Romper Prop and Gut, and what else is there? There's like Plasma, and who else?
I was thinking Bird Flesh.
Oh, Cock and Ball Torture, of course, but
Yeah,
they're a bit
I think
more serious.
That was like, that was one of their label mates too for this
Yeah.
first album. I forget what it's called. It was called like, maybe I should do my research. I think it was called Bag of Bones Records or something. But yeah, I know that Cock and Ball Torture was on that, and a good number of other grind. Oh, Bones Brigade Records. So who do you have here? Yeah, Cock and Ball Torture.
Oh, yeah.
You have Brutal Truth. Bands I haven't heard of, like Jesus Crossed, Hangman's Chair,
Sublime
Cadaver Composition, Weekend Nachos. So it's basically a grind, or that side of the metal spectrum.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like
It's definitely on the spectrum.
shit that just like overtakes this genre, where it's like, yeah, it can't be considered in the same breath of like anything serious or just like heavy and like the other gore grind bands. Like it's like you either go to extreme like Last Days of Humanity or you don't. But there's bands like this and the ones I mentioned before that just are really just fun to listen to. Like this is like the only genre where it's like can actually be humorous and fun. I guess crossover with SOD is like a good like pre-step to this, at least in like a concept and theme sort of way. And I think they mainly get a lot of their instrumental influence from just regular grindcore and gore grind death metal and
Hardcore punk,
yeah.
DB, crust, and stuff.
So what do you guys think of this one?
I don't know if Fred wants to go
This-
first. He's chewing.
I'm gonna be chewing for the rest of the episode. People are just gonna have to get used to that.
Okay, well, you're talking now, so Fred can go ahead.
It's not normally my thing. Grindcore, gore grind, pornogrind, whatever you want to call this. But it was metallic enough that I liked it, and I was listening to it on headphones without really looking at the YouTube channel, and I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty good song," not realizing that like 4 songs had already gone by. But it didn't really matter, and I don't think like the distinction between songs is particularly important in this. Any given bit that you randomly click to, if you're checking it on YouTube, is going to be crunchy and catchy as fuck. Like it's surprisingly memorable for a gore grind album for me, anyways. Because this really leans harder into the shorter songs. Because I really like the earlier releases from Pharmacist, but they kind of lean more towards the carcass sort of thing. This is a bit more spastic, I guess. But I don't know. It's hard for me to verbalize what I like about this because it's such a genre I'm not used to talking about. But I actually liked it a lot. This was a great pick.
It's just fun, Fred.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? I really like that. I do like that it doesn't take itself too seriously. Because it lets them do so much, especially with the vocals. Whereas I might have found them annoying on a more serious record, on this it just kind of fits that they're just taking the piss out of everything that they do, and it works better for that reason, I think, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like why wouldn't this work like theoretically in just extreme metal gore grind, just pitching the vocals up.
Yeah.
Like I know there's a Bathtub Shitter that kind of has the same vocals as well, and then they had some other bands that were in the scene before them in French or in France, like Infected Pussy and Pornocrate and stuff. But I don't know. I think these guys are the ones that sort of made it, as now they're on Season of Mist.
Yeah, I did not expect that when I was looking through the discography and winding up with them. But that was a big break between their second and third albums.
Yeah, I was like, what is it, 14 years or something?
Yeah, a lot of
Let's
years.
see, 2008 to 2022. Yeah, it's like 14 years. But the one on Season of Mist, you still have their sense of humor in there. Like the title is a play on Regarde les hommes tomber. Watch the men fall, but this one is Watch the men suck.
Yeah, and
Okay.
even like the first track on that one too. Track title.
Yes.
Last Gaze of Humanity.
And they're all kind of funny, but they're not as out there as they were on that first album, and the album cover is almost disappointingly normal. Like there's, you know what? If it wasn't for the logo having a giant dick in it, this could be any kind of Black Death album.
Yeah, with that art.
Yeah, exactly. But
Well, you got
yeah,
this,
and they
this
went.
art for the self-titled, so we're good. And the second album.
The second album's artwork is fantastic. Also, We Are French, Fuck You, maybe one of the best album titles I've ever read.
Yeah. Yeah, really enjoy that one too, and the EP before it. But
Yeah, I like Satanic Tuning Club.
this one just sticks
Have-
out because it was the first one I heard.
Have you
by
heard
them.
the one that's on Season of Mist?
I heard a little bit of it during the week, and it was just, I don't know if it was more, I think it was definitely more straightforward, but I need to give it some more time.
Hmm.
I mean, they're right there in what Season of Mist is in France too, right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying like a lot of their bands that they're looking up to, like Occipigates and stuff like that, were on that label, and then they were like, I mean, let's try it, and they got on. So
Yeah.
and I know like Anal Cunt is especially a big influence on here too, because they even have a song title like them. Was it Sublime Cadaveric Decomposition is Gay?
Fellow label mates.
Yeah, and they have quite a few covers on here too, like Napalm Death and Gut, Last Days of Humanity too.
The black metal band Bolaños.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's random.
Yeah, it is.
But what do you think of this? How do you come across it, Dan? If I vaguely remember, it was Julian, or that might be Romper Prop.
Yeah, we discovered Romper Rob at Julian's house. One of his friends from high school showed us that, and I think at the same time I discovered Dying Fetus. Like they were put on Homicidal Retribution, and that was my first time hearing death metal that wasn't Morbid Angel or Death or Deicide. So it was all like a bombardment of like modern stuff at that time. But yeah, Gronibard. I don't know if you remember a friend of mine. His name was Tommy, that like punk dude. You ever meet him? Yeah, he showed me this band. I think we were probably just hanging out, and he showed me a live clip, and it's like a bunch of dudes wearing dresses on stage playing grind, and there's guys that are going, "La, la, 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 la." And there's like, instead of beach balls, they have blown up condoms like being thrown around in the crowd and things.
And just to cut
Amazing.
you off for a second, like their live performances are like to a T of what their studio albums are, and they just sound just as heavy and fast.
Yeah,
and,
they're like naked.
yeah,
Have you seen them live or just seen
just
videos?
his videos.
I've seen clips.
I wish. I'd love to see Gronibard maybe in. I think they played Maryland Death Fest a couple years back, and they say they're active for like shows throughout those 14 years, but hopefully they get something going with this album that came out 2 years ago. But
Yeah, these guys have been around since '98, so you get more or less a typical like gore grind or death grind kind of thing, and then by the time 2000, this is a little bit early for its time too. The kind of like silly gore grind type of thing, or like, yeah, pretty much gore grind or whatever. Because I remember at the same time I had heard a band called Ultra Vomit, and I think they were mentioned in the comments too, people comparing them to Ultra Vomit, who like I think changed a lot in their sound. But they start off doing weird shit like kind of cover things. Like I think I showed you, Paul, the song Ultra Vomit. They have a song called I Like to Vomit, and it's that I like to move it. I like to vomit.
yeah,
Yeah, but they were kind of just noise besides like that. And then there was another band called, I don't think anybody remembers this, but there was a band called Excrementory Grindfuckers. And what they would do is like covers, just covers really, they would have like the final countdown, the final grind down, and things like that. There was another band from Germany, I believe. They were called Ultra Wurst, and they had like a dude who dressed up all black metal, except for bullet bolts. He had like sausage links wrapped around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like bird flesh and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Obscene Upstream is
Yeah.
what really opened up that
Yes.
whole scene of Pornogrind.
Yeah, the scene of stuff like Romper Prop. I'm not sure. I think Romper Prop might have come out a little bit earlier, maybe like '99 or something. I'm not totally 100% on
Yeah,
that.
I don't get why they're not on the archives, but like,
Yeah, neither do I. But
Not metal enough, I guess.
but they have like dumb shit on there, like fucking Alien Fucker and all these later bands where it's like you can't even put like the sort of progenitors of a genre.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying.
Not Fred. Come on, do something.
I can't. My hands are tied.
yeah, but musically, these guys, it all seems pretty straightforward. Like they have like later on they do cover of Disrupt and Exit 13 and things like that. So not to say that their influences are all like one dimensional, but the way that they play, it seems like all of their riffs are hummable,
Yeah,
and
they're
like it
just
seems like
super
they
goofy.
just they write just really catchy riffs, but production wise, they did a really good job at capturing something really heavy. Like the drums and the guitars are really heavy, and like Fred said, metallic. They do. There are moments of like weird chording that most grindcore fans wouldn't do at all.
Yeah, towards the end of the album, there's just like a ton of like tremolo melodic guitar work that just pops out of nowhere.
Almost black metal.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think at this point, this band probably isn't of interest to like younger guys like who we often see on Instagram and YouTube and things, because it seems like those guys are all really interested in like melodic black or melodic death or like a type of brutal death and gore grind that's like the most extreme or groundbreaking or something like that. Where I don't
not that
think
there's anything wrong with that.
no,
No.
but I don't think I just don't see this band really sticking out to people who weren't around during their sort of heyday.
Yeah, it's probably just not taken serious enough to like actually
Well,
go
yeah, I
through.
mean, not even that. Like, it's not the most extreme. Like,
Yeah.
Fred, like whichever one of you guys said it, it's definitely not the most extreme thing. They go in some pretty cool directions. Like, they get fast and they do the guttural vocals and stuff. But it's sort of a band that's gonna be left by the wayside, and it's a pretty decent album. My main gripe with it is like a lot of the middle parts and like the retarded kind of little guitar things that they do that aren't grind. You know what I mean? They'll do like weird little theme songs and weird little like Olay and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like even humorous on the instrumental level, rather than
Yeah,
just like lyrics and vocal wise.
Yeah, I suppose it does fit this band, and it works. But for me personally, I'm just not that interested in those parts. There are some great moments here, but those moments are not moments for me at this point. Going back and like fully sitting down with this album, because
Yeah.
I don't ever think I really did. I always kind of just picked and choose songs from them.
Yeah, the bangers.
I think Dan's right though that the look and the humor on this would probably turn off a lot of people, and that's why with the new album, well, the newest album that came out, they toned that down so much because they had to be able to appeal to the type of clientele that Susan and Miss market to. I mean, if they release an album that looks like this, the one we're talking about today, the self-titled, I don't think that would go over nearly as well as something that looks like this one. Like I said, it looks like almost like a Black Death album cover, so it's in theory going to appeal to people a bit more than what we're seeing on the first album.
Yeah, well, I mean, think of the things you see people post on Instagram and the things you see people talking about on YouTube. It you don't really see any of these like silly grindcore bands ever being mentioned because the stuff you usually see, like you see a post of Nitberg or some whatever band, it's like this is awesome, or just like dank riffs. You really wouldn't see Gronibard in anybody's rotation. I've never seen anybody talk about this band. You see like some comments on YouTube, but from the people that I know, no, besides Paul, no one ever really talks about this stuff. You know, we talk about Pornogrind, but Gronibard is always sort of left out of the conversation.
I would post it.
You know, even being as early as it is.
It's like, yo, top 10 funniest bands. It's like...
Well, it's not even that. It's like, well, we're probably going to play the first song, but that song in particular is probably in my opinion, the best, and it does everything that I love. It's got all the vocal parts. It's got, it just doesn't stop. It even has that stupid like keyboard intro thing. I like it.
Yeah.
I like what that song does a lot, and there are moments like, but there are all the musical moments are pretty good, but there are some moments of like kind of vocal stupidity and guitar, like, you know, being funny with the guitar. Not really doing it for me, but the music itself is pretty good.
Yeah, and I thought a way we can sort of sample some of this, because we're barely going to scratch the surface if we do like the normal 3 songs that we do. I was thinking about doing like sections of songs just to get a bigger chunk of it down, and it would only be about 4 minutes anyway.
Yeah, that sounds good.
To like knock out a few tracks.
Works for me.
Yep.
But yeah, you wanted to sample the first song, right?
Yeah. So what do you want to do? The first 4?
Yeah, I was thinking actually the first 5 actually.
First 5, okay.
Yeah. So it is.
Whoa.
Because like from Undefru to Cream de Chat. Yeah, from Cream de Chat, like that one, like it's just such a good contrast that you have to hear back to back.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll be right back.
Ça a l'air de vous plaire? Passons à l'acte.
Back from listening to those first 5 songs.
It's a few minutes.
Yeah, it's not that long. Well, Freddie,
What?
say it in French.
I was trying to get the playlist to stop. It was still going for me. That sucked. How do I say that in French? C'était horrible.
I was gonna ask you to read these song titles out, the 5 of them, and translate them for us. The heavy lifting.
Yeah, let's have a look here. What do we got? So we did the first 5 tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So March of the Gronibard, that's fine. Je te déchire l'anus, so I tear your asshole. I'm not gonna read the website because it's too much of a pain in the ass. Oh my god, these song titles are so stupid. How would you even say this?
What is it?
This section of my ass is a kit of cock. I don't even know what that one's trying to go. 4 is Udufru. Blenos goes to Norway, which is, I think, pretty clearly them just taking the piss out of a Viking metal song. And then 5, Come to Shut, is Vagina Cream.
There you go.
There you go.
So, what do you guys think of that? I don't know, collection of tracks right there.
I like how well it flows between the tracks, so that for me, I've always found that grind bands that do shorter songs always wind up, because I'm a normal guy, I like normal length songs, they flow into each other well to the point that you don't really always know when one song ends and the other one starts, and it kind of makes it sound like a just good section of consistent music rather than shorter individual tracks. And like that first track after the introduction anyways, that part is so fucking heavy, and track 5 as well had some really heavy bits, but they're really like metallic chugging parts too.
Mm-hmm.
That that really work for me. And I forget which track it was, but the part where he's going la 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 la, man, that just made me think of Dead in on the December Moon demo. La 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 la.
Yeah, I think that was the third track.
Yeah, that I don't know if that was the intentional reference to that, but it
Well,
worked.
well, these guys are like very versed in a lot of shit. Like apparently that second album, uh, "We Are French, Fuck You" is like
That's a
very
sadistic
Sadistic
execution.
execution.
yeah,
Yeah,
and also like just necrophagia, like I guess just music wise, they're just a lot taking a lot from that too.
yeah.
They're like, yeah, we like that shit, but not down.
It's it's funny because it's very I mean, stupid. It's really stupid, but like the intelligence behind the reference, whether it's musical or the song tells, are actually pretty smart. Like it's there are it is humorous and it's parody, but it's despite like the immature look of it, it's surprisingly well thought out.
Yeah, and it has a
Like that Udurfu song.
yeah.
Oh my god. I was first time I heard that, I was pissing myself laughing. I knew exactly what it was and it was brilliant.
He in his underwear.
Which would be one of their song titles in French.
Yeah, but what do you think of those tracks, Dan?
Yeah, it's there is plenty of death metal in here. I mean, I suppose
Mhm.
it is sort of different in the sense that it lets everything breathe, but it's pretty clear where the like normal death metal is and where the like crust punk riffs are. Because there's like straight up things that are like slightly faster than disrupt. They would be more in like extreme noise terror territory. But yeah, not all of it, as I like first kind of explained, is their riffs are sort of just like hummable, and that's mostly true, but not completely. During some of the more chaotic parts, there's like slightly more nuance and like technical death metal things going on, just slightly. Not nothing, not anything too crazy, but enough for it to work as a death metal band.
Yeah,
And also that first song, um, where all the vocals land and there's like the gang shouts and the pitch shifts and the like weird, all that works so well. That's so much fun. And when they're grinding and when they're really going for it, it works really good as just something like heavy and headbangable, really.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool. Like a lot of these, like even the intro, like it has the keyboard, and then they make the riffs out of it, and they
Yeah,
shift
like
the tempos
the
of
next
it.
four riffs are that keyboard.
Yeah, and like the cool thing about like Pornogrind and Gore Grind is like, yeah, sure, they're working with like the same notes and like chords, uh, but it's all just like a rhythmic thing. Making those same notes different, landing on a different groove and speeding it up or slowing it down, and
And not even really in the same way that brutal death metal would be.
yeah,
Because I mean,
because I
in a
think
certain
there's only
sense,
that one like trick. It's like you do one riff and then you just slow it down and then you slow it down more. Where these guys are, having the same. They're probably just above like the fifth fret, and they're just coming up with these like just super groovy parts that I love from like Gut and Romper Prop.
yeah,
And
I would say cock and ball torture too. It's all like sort of in that same like a lot of the porno grind, like you were saying, like sperm swamp and things. A lot of that is just kind of computer noise,
yeah,
where those bands are actually bands, and it's something you would want to see live. And this is
yeah, because
one of
like
those things too.
I think I was saying during this, I was like, yeah, this genre, or particularly with those three bands, it's like they are like crowd pleasing, but it's like I think they get a pass with it because like Yeah, this is just meant to be fun and heavy and nasty and disgusting, but also in a fun fun kind of way.
Yeah, maybe in that sense, something that like metal guy, like what grindcore is anyway, something that metal guys and punk guys can kind of mosh to, and like wink at each
Yeah.
other in the pit or something.
Yeah, always wearing the
Wink at each other.
the obscene upstream, like wearing a banana suit vibe.
Yeah, there's like a guy in a banana suit who's kind of just there to drink. There's like a crust punk, and then there's like a brutal death metal guy, and that's kind of the encapsulation of this this type of grind that I mean it sort of exists now. I think probably the most famous grind band now, or in this sort of genre, would be that Gutalax, who I've never been super into, but
Yeah,
they sort of fit that. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I think
Shit
there's
themed
even
band.
shit being like, I think like sick fuck too.
Yeah.
It got to the point of like being like I was all about that because I was just like going deep into this genre of of music, and at the time I was like, oh yeah, just give me whatever, it's good. But there's only a few that actually like are worth going back to, and this is for sure one of them.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I've always seen this band as that. It's like, oh, I discovered this band a long time ago, and it's fun and whatever. But somehow, like, we've always kind of had it in our minds, just in the back, like, oh, Gronibard. Because I remember at some point when we first started, you're like, oh, we're gonna do Gronibard at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that band Sick Fuck. You showed me the shit-fisted Superman, the Man of Stool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, teabagged at birth and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember your Facebook page was like you would just upload a bunch of like weird, like
Pornogrind.
Pornogrind and stuff like that. Just
Yeah,
the
like-
album covers because they were shocking.
That and like the anal cunt and shit.
Waco Jesus and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh God, Waco, Jesus.
Cocksucker motherfucker.
They're the ones who were hot stove before, right?
I think so.
What's that? Yeah,
They're
that
the
was
ones who were hot stove before. Yeah.
Yes. Cocksucker motherfucker.
But yeah, this is I think those are the main like standout tracks in here on a groovy end, and I want to go more towards the middle. Or did you guys have any tracks that were kind of sticking out to you, or were they all within that collection of tracks?
Yeah,
For-
mine are all in that collection. Always has been.
Mine, I would have gone with, or I will go with tracks 19, 20, and 21.
Okay. Yeah, Ole. Yeah, because like having those tracks back to back with like, I guess less humorous ones is like it's a good contrast. Like that's why I was like, all right, it would be weird to just sample that track on its own and then go into a more serious track. Like it has to be heard like death metal guy says, like in a suite. It kind of has to be heard all together with the context, because there's
Yeah.
even tracks that go from one section to the next and you don't even realize it. Like I think Sublime Cadaveric Decomposition is Gay goes right into Prati Bite, and it's just like fucking you can't even notice. But yeah, let's go ahead and listen to 19 through 21, and we'll be right back. right, we're back from listening to those. Was it 5 songs or so? But yeah.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Fred?
Oh yeah, I see it.
See what I mean?
I need to re-listen to that to see if it matches with what the hell they're doing.
I think the Bolaños version is way more technical, but Gronibard is kind of tapping into that sort of Black Death sound, sort of like melodic black metal sound, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just being funny because every cover that they have is like they'll throw in a little goof section. Like even in the Napalm Death one, you're like, all right, that's a little too much.
Yeah.
Then they have
But it was great too.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, these guys are covering your songs, but they're gonna make it their own, you know.
Pretty much make it their own, yeah.
Make it their own stupid version.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh damn, I don't want them to cover my song.
Guys, please.
I think it was the first track that we played off this section, where they go into that kind of like half D beat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that like Impetigo would do, and I think Fred mentioned Impetigo too.
It actually kind of made me think of some Impaled Nazarene tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this in more ways than like one. This is very, very European, and yes, something that I didn't really catch on to immediately. But as soon as like, I don't know if it was apparent in the first few tracks, but with this section it was. This is like condensed old Swedish death metal. That's really what I was hearing. I told Fred, I was like, that one of the riffs in particular could have been a Darkified riff, and then like one of the other ones could have been like God Macabre. So it's grind, but they sort of slowed it down in this section where it could be older death metal, you know. Maybe even some kind of Swedish death grind stuff. Like I think Austin may have mentioned Filthy Christians last time, but it's like reminiscent of something like that, where it's obviously still metal guys. It's not. This doesn't feel like crust punk album. It feels more like, metal people playing this.
Well, I think
Could be like Necrony or something.
Sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of like that noise band that you showed me. Was it Lucy and the something Lords?
Tracy Lords Loves Noise.
Yeah, that like it.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, like Fred said, like taking the piss out of the metal scene.
Yeah, so they're just kind of poking fun at the whole thing, even though it's like out of a love for it, you know. Because these guys are definitely listeners.
That's okay to do. It's definitely it's not your typical Pornogrind album. It feels metal, and I feel like even looking at this album cover and hearing everything that we've heard so far, it is definitely what's the word? Viable. It's viable. It's like it's respectable.
Yeah, because I think what they're saying, they're like, oh, why do you guys like play this? They're like, it's like the only thing you can play and like have fun and like be funny, and people will get the joke, rather than like, oh, if you try to do this in another sort of genre or context, it's just gonna be like not accepted at all.
Sure.
I was gonna do Kraken, but I think I'll do something a bit more French. Poof, poof, patouf. I don't know.
Right, do you ever see the picture of that Frenchman trying Coca-Cola for the first time in like the 50s?
No.
He's just like spitting it all over the camera. It's not a joke. It's like that's an actual picture of like a Frenchman trying Coke for the first time.
Is he wearing like stripes and a beret?
He's wearing a beret. He is wearing a beret, or one of those little like pub hat things.
Yeah, I see it.
Did you see what I'm talking about, Paul?
He looks a bit like De Niro.
Frenchman drinks Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the picture. He is wearing a beret. He's spitting it at the camera.
He drank a bunch of that. Look how fucking empty that thing is.
Who knows? I don't even know.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's a lot about this album cover that I missed
deep.
initially. There's a lot of detail to it. I mentioned that the Frankenstein has a tit on his head, a titty sewed on his head.
You should check out the Discogs page and look at the rest of the booklet. It's like drawn like this too, and there's like cocks flying around and shit like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, there are boobs in the first aid cabinet, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Never know when you're gonna need some
there's
medicine.
tits in the cabinet, and if you look at the little window, there's like a little fella peering in.
Oh yeah.
And I also mentioned that the woman's hand is in a toaster, and it looks like the other hand is in a mouse trap. And on top of the light, there's like a little chicken character.
There's like a chicken character in like the later photos or artwork, and then there's like a toilet filled with shit in a body, and then like a little scuba diver going in, smoking a cigarette out of his snorkel.
I like
Yeah,
the severed head on the bottom left behind the instrument panel.
Yeah, there's that head
And then
down there.
if you look right under it, there's like a little dude walking around.
Yeah. It feels like a very European type of comic, like a comic strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
reminds
does.
me of like some Crumb or something.
Yeah, Robert Crumb. There you go. I'm looking at the Discogs images. It says this CD contains 33 grind. It doesn't say grind. It says grindcore tracks, telling how true love will save our world. Okay. And then you have the back. You have the other side where there's the shit-filled toilet with a pair of tits. There's another pair of tits nailed to the wall. There is a couple of chickens.
Yeah, those chickens look like something like Gary Larson would draw.
It looks like Joe Cartoon, a Joe Cartoon drawing. Yeah, the scuba diver. There's a sink with a little man taking a shit onto a lady's tits down below.
Yeah.
There's a flying cock with a cigarette in his mouth, and he's using the balls for wings.
As one does.
As one does, yeah. And then
The
there's just a
Frenchman's
page
skull.
full of tits.
The Frenchman's skull with the beret on it.
Yes. And there's like a guy standing there with his socks on. It looks like he blew a load into a tissue or something.
Yeah, so
Interesting
that's
artwork.
that's what you get with the art.
It reminds me of you know what this reminds me of, the artwork? It reminds me of Ed Roth. Do you guys know what that is?
No,
the
but
guy
just
that
while I'm
did
looking at
those-
it, the artwork.
Yeah, he has like the rats and shit.
Yeah, the Rat Fink and Rat Rod kind of artwork with those
Yeah.
like monsters driving fucking the rat rods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this
The
reminds me
band photo kind of reminds me of Disharmonic Orchestra.
Band photo.
Yeah.
The one with the head sort of reminds me of the what is the name of that damn band? Beyond Dawn, that electronic album they did where they have like giant heads on the cover. Paul, you might know that one. Yeah, I think you might have shown me that one. It's called Freisch. You remember that?
No, I don't think
It's a
so.
really good album.
That band photo, what does it remind me of? You remember Angela Anaconda? Anaconda?
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of a bit.
Yeah, where they have like the real kids' heads on like cartoon characters, but like it's done in a way where you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, it looks just weird.
Angela Anaconda. Nice
Yeah.
reference, brother.
Thought you liked that.
Yeah, referencing things. I remember when. Oy vey, you remember when.
Oy vey.
I don't want to remember that. No.
Okay, stop remembering now.
But yeah, I think there's only one track that I want to sample against my own rule. But it is I think the shiner of this whole release, and it's gonna be on Metal Archives, the 17th track. If you can tell us what that means, Fred. And there's even lyrics for you to give us.
I need to look at the lyrics because the title just means "go do the dishes."
Va faire
What?
la facile.
Va faire la vaisselle. Yeah,
Which
go do
track
the
is
dishes.
that? I'm looking at the wrong one.
Well, Metal Archives it's 17, but on the YouTube
Let's
it's
see.
15.
Let's see what the rest of the lyrics. Well, let's see what the lyrics all say here. Yeah, that sounds right.
What's it say?
All right, so go do the dishes times 4. Go wash the dishes, you dirty. Morue is a type of fish, but I forget what the type of fish it is in English. Or you will, or you'll get my penis in your ass. Go eat a big. I don't know what a tupu is. I have no idea what that is.
Probably
Or I'll,
dick or an ass.
yeah. Or I'll éclater, so like burst your ass again. Then go
And
to
it
the
repeats?
dishes 4 times. Yeah. Yeah. The second
Yeah,
verse is same
I
as
can
first.
totally see the misogyny, but this is a gay band. Probably talking to a fellow man.
Not so sure they are a gay band. I mean,
Yeah,
at least in the
that's the
beginning.
thing.
I think they kind of like adopted that later.
Yeah, in the
Because there's so
interviews
many
and
tits.
stuff, there's like no mention of it.
Yeah, I looked that up too. There's like no mention of it at all.
Yeah, and like even in like audio interviews, they're like everyone just kind of already knows them as the joke band, or like I think there's like even the interview that I read. It's like, oh, you guys have any last words for the fans and all that, and then the bass player is just like sob.
Wow.
Yeah,
I loved the reading of that. Fred goes, "Put my penis." That was great. That was really something.
but let's listen to that track, the dishes one.
All right, do the dishes.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back from listening or doing the dishes.
Or else.
Yeah, we already know. But yeah, this is one of the standout tracks for me. It just starts off just what I love with Pornogrind, just bouncy polka beat, crazy rhythm. The riff goes on for like much longer than you think it would. Initially, you would think that it would do like a four note kind of circular thing, but it like goes on for quite a while, like double the runtime of what I would expect a riff like that to go to, and then just goes into an even slower, groovier part that just like fucking kills it, and then they have the vocals come peeking in, and it makes you know that you're listening to Gronibard.
Yeah, that bouncy riff at the beginning was fantastic.
Yeah, it was like such a like there's like negative space that's always filled up with that polka beat, but just hearing that monstrous tone, just stop stop playing for like a second, and just like those little negative spaces in the riffs are just like so great. Just the groove in Pornogrind is what I love about it, and the simplistic drums, and this band will even speed it up to like crazy grindcore blast speeds too. So this is one of my favorites of the Pornogrind that actually sticks.
That second riff where it slows down,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I really, really like about this type of Pornogrind. The actual like
Music.
instrumentative type of Pornogrind,
Yeah.
like romper prop, like cock and ball torture. The really slow moments, because you don't really get those kinds of riffs anywhere else,
Mm-mm.
or at least that I can think of. It straight up reminds me of one of the romper prop songs. I think it's Embryo You, which we've talked about before, where it like slows down so much, but it's like it's got this really dirty atmosphere that's really cool. And then on another plus for this song is the way the vocals work is really, really nice and syncopated, because I didn't really catch it before that the dude was also doing the like kind of low gore grind vocals, not pitch shifted. I think that's a really nice touch here.
Yeah, the low vocals are really good. Like they have a nice depth to them. It's almost like a low croak, and the inflection he's able to put into that is great.
Yeah, see, this song is perfect too. It's the perfect length, and it's the perfect like there's no retarded like little guitar tricks or anything that's gonna piss me off. There's silly vocals, but they work really nicely here. So yeah, this is a nice solid Pornogrind song.
Couldn't go past this one. I had to get that one in there.
I don't think I heard that slow kind of thing either from this band, but I'm glad they did it. I love that.
Yeah,
I was
so
never
great.
able to articulate that, but God, the slow parts in Gut, the slow parts in
Oh yeah, like Nympho's a G, where they'll just like do the
Yeah.
fucking
even the chorus from this nympho was a G. Like
Yeah.
the slow parts of these types of Pornogrind that you don't. I don't think Pornogrind like this really exists anymore. Besides like Gutalax, but I can't really say if they do anything like this because I haven't listened to them.
Gotta
Really?
relax, bro, relax.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be good. He ain't gonna be romper prop.
Yeah, exactly. They're it's like the ultimate. I also noticed that the Frankenstein has a tiny penis coming out of his pocket shirt.
Yeah.
And also I noticed that one of the IV bags is a little bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a plunger on the okay, yeah, there's just so much about this artwork. It's very French.
It's very
how you
it's
say
very varied, isn't it?
how you say
How
funny?
you say vous vivi.
Huh?
Ah.
I was thinking of some Ultravox song that was like in French. I can't remember which one it was.
But the sad thing, or
Oh, it's that Tolemu. Don't they shit on it for no keki. Tolemu. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's a good song. I think it's Ultravox. Tolemu. Sorry, Paul, I interrupted you.
I was gonna say, Fred, I know that there was a lot of like samples throughout
Erasure.
this, and of course they don't register to my mind. So, is there anyone that sort of stuck out to you? Because I know that they were like sampling like just straight French porn shit, like, and some like TV shows and stuff like that. But was anything like catch your attention on any of those samples tracks?
Nothing that I immediately recognized. No.
But like, what were they about?
I kind of zoned out during. Like I zone out during samples for everything I listen to. Like if I'm hearing a sample, I'm probably not paying attention to it, and that's kind of the case here. I can go back and listen to one right now, but I don't.
I was gonna say, listen to Sublime Cadaveric Decomposition is gay.
Hang on.
We'll get the live translation.
We will, unless it's suitably horrible.
Fred's like, I'm not gonna say that.
That's rude. All right, Sublime Cadabra. There we go.
Anticipation. Show me the money.
Sorry, I was laughing at this video I was watching. Have you ever seen this like reality show clip? And some dude exits the show. It's like on VH1. He's like, I ain't doing this because of him or anybody. He goes, cowards do that, and he starts flexing. He goes, he like starts flexing, and then he passes out. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's really
No.
funny.
But
So,
did you get anything
that
from
was stupid. Yeah, he's basically describing like copulation, but I didn't get to hear all of it because Dan's yeah, but
Sorry.
one point he said his testicles are of a remarkable size. Oh,
See, there's
fucking!
like just a whole other dimension of this album that's impenetrable to me.
Oh no, there was penetration. But
Well,
at least it was definitely on track with the rest of the album. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But it didn't sound like it's from porn. I don't think it sounded like it was.
Instructional.
No, something like it was definitely comedic, but I don't know what would have had that.
Mm. But
I don't know.
that was just one thing I wanted to get out of the way. But should we get into our final thoughts of this? Not that long of an album. It's like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
How you say go, Fred?
You
What was that?
sounded Russian there.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was an Italian accent. Go, Fred. It's your turn.
Oh, Fred, you go. See, that sounded like Russian when you did that.
Fred, go.
Long story short, we don't know what the hell Paul was trying to do.
Yeah, work on that, will you?
I can't fill in a slot if we already got a Frenchman.
Wow.
On the free.
His. Oh Lord, help me.
Penis in your
Oh God.
See, if it was bad timing because this is episode 70, and then the self-pleasure talk was on another episode too.
Oy vey, it should have been 69.
You're killing me, Freddy.
You're killing me, Freddy.
Well, historically, I've never liked humor in my metal or music. Well, no, metal. And it's taken a while for me to get used to the idea that it's okay for extreme metal to not necessarily be cloaked in darkness. But this album's fucking great. Oh my God, the riffs on this thing are bonkers, and the humor is constant, and it's always out there, but it's not like pervasive. It doesn't get in the way of just some good fucking riffs, and they're there often enough that when they're shrieking or even adding in samples or doing those bizarre pitch shifted vocals, they don't detract from just how good it is musically. And I think that's the flaw a lot of bands that go overboard with humor or gore or like
Who's Fred?
porn themes, like they go overboard without actually having the music to back it. And these guys do. And this is just take away all that you could take away all the other stuff they put in here, and just leave the gurgling vocals, and it'd still be a really good album. But those added humorous licks in it kind of just make it stand out even more than it would otherwise. So, you know, when I looked at the cover of this, I was like, oh god, here we go. Total 180 on that. Fucking great pick, Paul.
Yeah, I think I got the live impression because we were doing the late episode on Saturday, and I had some time to be like, okay, yeah, Monday. I was like,
Yeah, I
oh yeah,
remember
let's do that. And then Fred's like, oh god, what is this?
What the fuck is this shit?
And he's like, oh shit.
It's actually really good. Yeah, no, that was literally it. I just look at the cover, I'm like, oh god, here we go. And it starts playing, and right off the bat with that very first track where it's like surprisingly metallic interpretation of Gorgrind, I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. And it lasted the whole way through. So yeah, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, and
What did you think when you saw the album cover? What did you expect?
Well, like I said, I found a lot of Gorgrind bands just lean too hard into the gimmick of being over the top aesthetically, lyrically, whatever, and don't have the actual music to back it. And that's kind of what I thought. I thought these guys are focusing so much on being absolute goofballs, like just fucking gross humor, whatever, that they're not gonna have anything to back it up with. And I could not have been further from the truth on that. The musical chops are just here in spades, and that's what at the end of the day that's what we want to hear at any of the albums that we listen to on this podcast, right? We want to hear extreme music that's actually well written and that we enjoy. And I did not expect this to actually have it based solely on the cover and reading the album or the track titles. You're like, this is all just throwaway shit to get their humor out there, but it's not.
When you first saw it, like the album cover, did you expect Gorgrind right away, or how did that?
I think what gave it away was the logo being shot out of a butt.
Right. Okay.
Like, I don't know if you've seen the this death metal band Sadistic Drive.
I think so.
Their album covers kind of remind me of this. It's kind of like crudely drawn, dark, but also kind of comedic, and a lot of like really fine random details. But
yeah, I think this one takes the cake.
Okay.
yeah,
this one does
takes the whole fucking bakery.
By cake we mean ass.
Yeah, that cake. It sort of reminds me of the way Phlegm's album covers look for whatever reason. Like I expect Death Grind, and that's what you get. You get a sort of Death Grind that, in turn, becomes Pornogrind with some of the territory and like when the time that this comes out, and it's European. You know, it's and on the label that it's on, it's got all that stuff. At first, I'm thinking like, I mean, I'd heard this before, but listening back to it now, because we have to talk about it, I was at first thinking like, I don't know if that I like this that much, but
Bruh.
the good parts, like the handful of like Pornogrind gold, it is just that, and it sort of cancels out any moments that I don't really give a shit about, which are some of the like humorous moments that aren't funny to me because I don't get it, and because I don't care. I'm not listening to. Yeah, I'm really not listening to music for it to be intentionally funny. If it just happens to be funny, or if it is so evil or so gross that it is funny, fine. But intentionally funny stuff, I'm with Fred. I don't really. I think humor needs to be left out of music
But even
intentionally,
like even
if that
like
makes sense.
crossover, the stuff that you like, that you get, because I think that's what they're coming from with like the SOD
I mean,
influence.
Yes, because I feel the same way about crossover in the sense that I'm really just looking for good music now, as you know, at a time
Yeah, it's different.
where like that's different, you know. And that's a good. I like that you bring up the crossover thing because I was thinking this while you kind of brought up the point, like right when we started talking about it, that this era of Pornogrind is almost in a weird way a continuation of crossover thrash in a
Yeah.
very different execution, but that's something I can appreciate, and that's something I can get down with, especially instrumentally. So yeah, I think it's a ton of fun, dude. I really dig grind like this, and I kind of makes me want to seek out some more of it.
Yeah, there's some really good shit out there, but I feel like we've already combed the magazines of what's good.
Well, there's always more to learn. There's always, as Matt says, there's always going to be something out there that's going to blow your mind. And I think
Blow your
my
load.
final, yeah, blow your load. I think my final little question to Fred. Fred, did you know who this band was before? Had you ever heard of them?
Nope. This is totally
okay.
new to me.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Why? Because I'm
Yeah.
French?
So Fred,
No, because I just didn't expect it. No, just because I didn't expect this to be something that you would
in the wheelhouse.
that would be in your Fred's wheelhouse.
No,
I didn't
like-
expect it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, gore grind is
Oh, and
something
Fred's
that I'll
got
come
whales in
across.
his house.
Gore grind is something I'll come across every so often that when I find some
Girl
that
got
I
me going
like,
my
I'll
grind.
be all over it. But when it's not well done, I could not be more turned off. And the ones I tend to like probably have more death metal leanings anyways. So, like I mentioned, Pharmacist before, Catasexual Urge Motivation,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, my exposure to gore grind in general is not very extensive. So
But I feel like
I
this
can't-
leans way more into porno grind. Just
Yeah.
because I think the major
yeah, lyrically,
distinction-
I would definitely agree. There's a lot of asshole talk on this album.
I would say musically too, because I mean, I
It's
know
got
I
the-
understand Gut and Cock and Ball Torture and Romper, all the bands that we've been kind of lumping them into. I feel like all those bands sort of. Okay. Here's a thought. These bands take more from Infantigo than they do from Carcass. They're
Oh, yeah.
very.
You can
They're
hear that.
very kind.
I was gonna say
they're
you can hear
very
that from
sort
like
of,
the first album, just by drum
yeah.
beat wise.
Yeah. They're definitely like away from Carcass, and that's something that I like. I appreciate gore grind bands that take more from Infantigo rather than from Carcass, because Carcass is kind of, you know, I hate to use Fred's term here, a one-trick pony. I feel like there's much more experimentation and much more to get to from Infantigo.
Yeah,
Impetigo feel much more directly descended from Repulsion than Carcass ever did.
and vocal wise too, in Impetigo, like you can like hear the high vocals and the lows, and just his like ugly kind of like really low carcassy vocals too.
Yeah,
that
well,
are-
you know, when we were doing that Jerome project, I sort of put Impetigo in the same place that I did Multiplex, and in the same place that I put Disharmonic Orchestra and Pain Eater and that the obliteration of humanity. All those bands I kind of put on the Impetigo side rather than the Carcass side. The Impetigo side, there's like so much room for weird experimentation, I think,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say this
Carbonized
album
too.
is for sure one of my go-tos for Pornogrind. Up there is like, Gut, Cock and Ball Torture, Romper Prop, Carnal, Diaphragma.
I would say Dead too, even though they're really Carcass influenced, but I think Dead is probably a really good old school
Hey,
Pornogrind.
can I ask something as someone who's like genuinely inexperienced in the realm of gore grind and porno grind? Musically speaking, is there a difference between porno grind and gore grind, or is it purely aesthetic and lyrical
Yeah, that's
differences?
the thing. It's like,
It might be the Impetigo Carcass argument again.
yeah, I was gonna say it's musically, it's probably just more groove based and just slower. Where Gore Grind will,
Which one? Oh,
Porno
okay.
Grind, where Gore Grind will actually speed up things. Like it seems like Gronibard is sort of the exception to that because they'll kind of just stick to the skank beat, just like the polka dukat dukat dukat. But,
Okay, so gore grind is more like literal flesh ripping sonic torment, whereas gore
Pornogrind
grind
is like
tries
yeah,
to
you're
make
like
it sound
humping a
literally
pillow or
dirty.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the lyrics and theme is definitely what differentiates it between Gore Grind, but I of course it spawns out of there. I wouldn't see this coming out of any other direction. Like, of course, brutal death metal does it in a more like reality sort of based thing, where this is more based on like fantasy.
Mhm.
Yeah, plus even the bands like Putrefaction and like Lividity are still more in the suffocation type camp.
Yeah,
And then things like Sublime Cadaveric Decomposition and Jig Eye are still really in the Carcass area. And yeah, I really like that point that came up. Impetigo, that's a really good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
all these bands seem they act more like Impetigo, which is really cool.
yeah,
Which
and
makes
then-
sense why I like them, because Impetigo rules, and all the bands that I've considered to be offshoots of them are awesome.
And it seems like a lot
My
of these
favorite gore
bands in Porno Grind are just straight up from like fucking Germany. So I don't know what's going on there regionally, but they got to get some spunk out or something, because you got Cock and Ball
Spunk.
Torture from there. You got who else? Mucky Purulent
and
and
Dead.
stuff like that. Which is like a death and roll sort of Porno Grind, which is really good. That album, Horny as Hell, check that out. And
Who's that by?
probably saying it wrong. Mucky Purulent. And then of course like Spasm and shit, and
Oh yeah,
Gut
Spasm.
from Germany too.
Yeah, Spasm counts. They're doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but
A little bit more simplistic, but same realm.
yeah, and I'll say with this album, just with how it stands out and has so many dimensions to it, other than just like groovy gore grind. It has a whole theme and aesthetic, not only as an album but as a band entirely. Like, they pride themselves in being like gay gore grind, even though we don't know
Or titty gore grind.
what's up with that. And they also are very consistent from each release that I've heard, at least. This first album, second album, the EP, Satanic Tuning Club, and from what I heard of their latest album, it's still up to par with all this, and I think they lose a little bit more of that stuff that Dan wasn't so much a fan of. But I mean, for a band to do covers and for them to stick out on their own, like not even being able to tell that they are a cover, and when you do, it's like, damn it, they even threw in their little like gay shit in there that make it different. And yeah, I think this is just a top-notch Porno Grind album, and it's just okay to have fun once in a while and to crowd
I say it's
please.
okay to be gay.
What did they say in Angry Boys? With the
I don't know.
Skateboarder guy.
Oh, she says, "Get out of my way, cause I'm gay."
Yeah.
You are gay, Tim.
But yeah, I think this is the only band that can get away with that, just being French and all that humor that they're relying on, and even having samples that completely go over my head, and had Fred laughing, at least at the one that he was paying attention to.
Yeah, have Fred going.
There you go. But yeah, this is an album that
You fags should listen to.
yeah, and we should. It's just from a while ago, and it's always, like Dan said, always in the mind of like, oh yeah, there's this band that exists, and it's like actually
Right.
good. And yeah, that's where I have to go with that.
Joe likes this band, so there you go.
Joe likes the band.
Yep.
It must be true.
Yeah, it's true.
No, it must be true. True metal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. True.
True that.
True that.
All right.
We out.
Anything else? Oh, this album. This album's better than Bustin' a Nut.
Better than busting in that.
La 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 la.
Help! This white boy trying to kill me! This white man is trying to kill me! Help! Help! There's a white man trying to kill me! Help! Help me! Help me! Help me! Somebody help me! God, you gotta help me! This white boy trying to kill me! This white man is trying to kill